Hi, thanks for tuning in to Pro Football Today. I'm your host, Zach Simmons. My co-host, Jake, couldn't make it this afternoon. He is just starting classes, needed a week to focus on schoolwork. He'll be back here next week to talk about week 3 of the preseason. But week two of the preseason. And we saw a little bit more starters. Some teams we didn't see any starters, but we're starting to get a little bit more of a grasp of what these teams might look like. I mean, obviously, they're not playing with their full playbook. They're using vanilla offenses, vanilla defenses, but we're still able to see exactly what kind of talent they have. So I want to start by looking at the starters. Looking at particularly the one star that I thought was impressive, then another star that I thought just looked awful. So the impressive starter I thought was Sam Darnold. Last year as a rookie, I was a little concerned about Darnold. I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the draft, but at the same time, being there in New York, there's a lot of problems when it comes to the receiving core. They didn't have a good running back, and now they got Le'Veon Bell. They fixed that up, but at the same time, the receiving core still doesn't look that great, or so I thought. Now, if you saw my projections video, I was a little bit. I went on the Jets receiving core just a tad bit. Robbie Anderson's a decent receiver. Quincy Nunwa really hasn't been that great, but I did not expect Jamison Crowder to look as good as he has been. Crowder looks amazing. And to top all that off, Darnold has just looked great. Last year, he had kind of an iffy rookie season. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't fantastic. But looking how he was able to make some of those throws, they were really good. Really good throws, especially that one to Robbie Anderson on the streak right by the sideline. Really good catch, really good position of the ball there. Very impressed by Darnold. Liked what I saw from him last week. Given his first pass should have been a pick six. However, every other pass attempt, it's been really good. It's been very, very good. I mean, 5 or 7 this last week for 46 yards. Really good drive there by the second-year quarterback. Now, the worst performance I thought out of a starter goes to Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I was very critical of San Fran when they gave him that large deal. Not when they traded for him. I thought that was a smart move. They had Brian Hoyer at the time. Actually, he was hurt. Same thing as Matt Barkley. They were going with C.J. Beathard. They needed a change. They needed a quarterback. Everyone thought Jimmy Garoppolo could be something. I definitely thought he could be something. But the problem was they then gave him a huge contract based off of like 9 games they saw from him. Everyone was critical of the Houston Texans for doing that with Brock Osweiler, but no one was really that critical of San Fran doing that with Jimmy Garoppolo. I was also a little concerned saying that when he had a 4-game opportunity there in New England, by the second game he was hurt. Jacoby Brissett stole the show, and Jacoby Brissett ended up being traded, not Garoppolo. He got traded to the Colts and was a starter for the Colts the entire season as Andrew Luck was recovering from injuries. So I was a little concerned, is Garoppolo injury prone? And week 3 of last year, that claim was validated. That, this guy might have some injury problems. Now, given this is a preseason game. This is his first bit of NFL action since he got hurt. However, to go 1 for 6 for 0 yards and an interception, his first 4 throws were touched by Broncos defenders. That's not a very good performance. He's going to have to do a little bit more. Now, I know San Fran doesn't have phenomenal receivers. There's no receiver that really, when you hear his name, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a really good guy. Every team, for the most part, has one of those guys. San Fran does not. The one receiver that looks to be probably the best might be Deebo Samuel. Otherwise, you're looking at Dante Pettis, rookie last season. But there's no really standout receivers. Probably the only one I can think of would be George Kittle as a tight end. But as looking at true receivers, there's not really anyone there to help him out. But also Denver, Vic Fangio showing that it wasn't just Chicago, it wasn't just the players in Chicago that made him a star. That he knows what he's doing with the defense. We saw that back when he was with San Fran. We saw that with the Bears the last couple seasons. And now we're going to see it, I think, with the Denver Broncos. that he knows what he's doing. This is a good defense. They've just been little. They haven't been playing to their true potential the last couple of years under Vance Joseph. Now with Vic Fangio, though, they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be really good. But Jimmy G's got to play better. But lucky for him, he still has one more preseason game before he can get ready. Because more than likely, he won't be playing in week 4. So if he can adapt in week 3, then San Fran fans, you might not have to worry too much. But as of right now, you might be a little concerned, and I don't blame you. That's not a very good performance by your so-called franchise quarterback. 1 for 6, 0 yards, and an interception. Saying he got the same amount of yards as Aaron Rodgers did, and Rodgers didn't even play. So, in San Fran, hopefully Jimmy G works out for you. But as of right now, I'm a little worried that torn ACL is going to haunt him throughout this season. Now, looking at the rookies. I want to take a look at the rookies. Because we saw a lot of rookies this last week. Even with some of the starters playing, we still saw a lot of rookies. I mean, that's what the preseason is. It's a rookie showcase. Looking at the new players you just drafted, also a lot of the players have been on the bench. Your third strings, your fourth strings. Just trying to see exactly how much depth do you really have. So looking at the rookies, the number one performance that I liked came from Tony Pollard. The running back out of Dallas. Now, Zeke, right now, he's still holding out. We don't know when he's going to come back. We don't really know if he's going to come back. But Pollard looked good. 50-some yards off of, I believe, 6 touches, 5 rushes, and 1 reception. Plus, he got a 14-yard touchdown to cap off a 97-yard drive. Now, a lot of people have said, and I definitely agree with this, that if you take a look at Dallas, they're not the same team without Zeke. We saw that back in 2017 when Zeke was suspended. That Dak is a good quarterback, I think, but at the same time, he wasn't able to lead that team. We found out that Zeke is the true leader of that offense. Yet Tony Pollard comes in, 97-yard drive. Given it's preseason, the defenses aren't playing their usual schemes, not doing exactly what they would normally do in a regular season game, but he'll still look good. Maybe they don't need Zeke. Maybe they can get away with Tony Pollard. Maybe Jerry Jones's little comment, Zeke who, I think, to be honest, I think it's definitely something there. Tony Pollard looks good. He looks good. Best performance I thought of a rookie this last week. Now, when it comes to down performances by a rookie, no one's really talking about this too much. You don't hear this too much in national media, but Kyler Murray. Last week, there's a lot of praise coming his way because, he went 6 or 7, but he didn't throw past 10 yards. Yes, he was throwing out routes. Out routes are very complex routes, but at the same time, he didn't do much. Yet he gets all this praise. This last week, though, he struggled. He struggled. It was very weird. He's got this thing around him that he is a mobile quarterback, that he moves out of the pocket, but yet he didn't move. He stayed in the pocket, had no clue what to do when there's a rush. He needs to move. He needs to be mobile. He had one or 2 runs in that game, but he needs to do more. The thing is, he has the same potential as Russell Wilson. He's around the same size. He's also one of those quarterbacks. He's not like Lamar Jackson. A lot of people put him in the same boat as Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. That's not the style of quarterback he is. He's not a run-first kind of quarterback. He looks for the open receiver, but he also will dance around behind the pocket or behind the line of scrimmage. And he'll move kind of like Russell Wilson does, try to find the open receiver. If there is no open receiver, then he'll run. But he's not just a run-first kind of guy. He'll only run first if that's the play. That's the design of the play. Otherwise, he's not going to run. But he needs to move around the pocket. He's able to do that. He's a quick quarterback. Probably one of the quickest quarterbacks in the league right now. Definitely the quickest out of the starters. He might even be quicker than Lamar. But he needs to move. But the one thing I thought while watching him was he does not know what to do when he's in the pocket. A lot of people are praising Oakland's defense. Maybe it's not Kyler Murray. Maybe it's just Oakland's defense. It doesn't matter. If he's going against a good defense or not, he needs to move. He needs to know what to do when the pocket's collapsing. But it proved to us once again that Arizona does not have a line. They need a line. I was critical of them drafting Kyler Murray, not because I didn't think Murray was going to work, but it was because I didn't think quarterback was a necessary need for them. I thought they needed a line. You don't just want to draft a quarterback and hope for the best. Given Murray has more ability and definitely more mobility than Josh Rosen, but they needed a line, not necessarily a quarterback. If they had a line, Josh Rosen would have worked. Kyler Murray can work without the line, but at the same time, you're throwing your quarterback out there with guys running right at him. He needs to move around the pocket more, but this offensive line needs to step up. They didn't do well last season. They got the quarterback traded last season. Now you have a new quarterback, Kyler Murray. Protect him. Make sure he doesn't hit the ground. But one thing Cliff Kingsbury definitely needs to do this week is try to make sure Murray knows what to do in the pocket. And that can definitely happen. It's easy to adapt. This isn't necessarily a red flag for Kyler Murray. He didn't show that he didn't know what to do with the ball. His accuracy was still on point. I mean, there's a little bit of some inaccuracies thrown on the run, but for the most part, I thought he looked fine. He just needs to know what to do when the pocket collapses. When he can figure that out, Kyler Murray, instant Rookie of the Year this year. He's going to be a fantastic quarterback for Arizona, but he needs to figure out what to do in the pocket. So that's what I have for this week. Next week, we'll take a look at the week 3 of the preseason. We'll see some more starters out there. I already know there's a couple teams that have already said they're not playing the starters, being Chicago and Indianapolis. But for the most part, we will be seeing a lot of starters. So now we can kind of see what kind of talent these teams have. But for the most part, we won't really know that until week 1. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day.